It's been a devastating 12 months for millions of people across the world.
Katastrofa, brate. I sami vidite da uopšte ne postoji kap vode.
Rising temperatures have fueled more powerful storms and harsher droughts. And scientists now say 2025 is on track to become the second warmest year ever recorded.
So concerning. I have children, I have family, I have friends. We're looking to the future. In fact, I'm very concerned.
And a celebrated journal, Nature, releases its list of 10 people who helped shape science in 2025. One of them is tackling a problem that bugs us a lot.
I know that you hate mosquitoes, but they will still be there, so they will bite people. But what happens is that they don't transmit these diseases.
I have mixed feelings about mosquitoes. They are part of the ecosystem. I am kind of sad that Wolbachia doesn't kill them. Throughout 2025, there were numerous examples of a planet spiraling out of control. Deadly storms in the Caribbean and Asia, wildfires across the Americas, heat waves in Europe, and droughts in Africa and Australia. Practically everyone has been affected by the crisis. But it's also been a pretty successful year for science. Around the world, people have been rethinking what our future could look like, including how it relates to the climate.
From breakthroughs that might one day help repair damaged teeth, using keratin, the protein already found in our own hair and skin.
It protects our skin and hair, and from this has got the idea.
To new tech, where bionic arms allow mushrooms to create music and visual art, and a humanoid robot that can take on tasks in places that aren't always safe for humans.
Exactly tell the robots to do repetitive but maybe boring jobs, right? And replace people, or we should say free people from those very boring or hazardous jobs.
Science in 2025 has moved fast. And the climate space has not been left behind either. A US biotechnology company says it's created 3 direwolves, a species that's been extinct for over 10,000 years. Colossal Biosciences modified the genome of a modern-day grey wolf using ancient DNA taken from fossils. The result? Super cute pups. And a huge debate about whether this really counts as bringing back an extinct species.
So, yes, they have slightly genetically modified wolves, maybe. And that's probably the best that you're going to get. And those slight modifications seem to have been derived from retrieved direwolf material. Does that make it a direwolf? No.
And Colossal says it's now taking early steps to genetically engineer another prehistoric animal, the mammoth. In the UK, a startup says it's created cheese and yogurts, but without the methane cows release. The company Better Dairy says its products taste just as good, but come with a much lower environmental footprint. Meanwhile, a 21-year-old graduate at Ravensbourne University in London has developed slippers made entirely from household vacuum cleaner dust. His project, Done and Dusted, repurposes everyday waste into a felt-like material. In Nepal, drone technology is helping to clean up mountains. A local company is using unmanned aerial vehicles to deliver equipment up dangerous cliffs and bring trash back down.
So from base camp to Camp 1, it takes 7 to 9 hours for climbers to reach. And our drone can reach over there within 3 minutes.
And in the UK, an Oxford-led study has created an engineered food supplement that could help reverse decline in honeybee populations. The supplement mimics key compounds found in pollen, and researchers say it significantly boosts colony reproduction. So the work isn't finished, far from it. But the pace of new ideas in climate science shows that people are still trying. None of these breakthroughs fix the crisis on their own, no, but all the experimentation from Nepal to the UK and labs in the US gives us a little more to work with than we had last year.
But can any of these technologies help us out of the crisis? We'll speak with a global leader in urban ecology and sustainability in a minute. But first, scientists are closely tracking how global temperatures are shifting. The Copernicus Climate Change Service's monthly report says November 2025 was the third warmest November on record. They add that the year as a whole will likely be the second warmest.
What this shows is that it's more than just a temporary breaches. We haven't breached permanently the target from the Paris Agreement. It applies to a long-term average, so typically an average over 10 to 20 years, but we are closing in on that limit. And so that's, I think, the fact that these 3 years are likely to exceed 1.5 is a strong sign that we are rapidly approaching this limit.
So this November was the third warmest on record according to Copernicus Climate Change Service. And they're also saying that this year as a whole is on track to being the second warmest ever. So your organization, Timon, has projected continued warming, but is the speed we're seeing now earlier, later, or exactly what your models expected?
The rate of change that we're seeing is both consistent with the models, and yet at the same time, the impacts that we're seeing from that, in many cases, are exceeding the model predictions. I think one of the things you see out of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is that the projections tend to be conservative, and that's important for scientific rigor. But at the same time, we're experiencing climate change impacts at a really accelerating pace.
How close are we to fully breaching the Paris 1.5 degree threshold? What's the honest timeline you can give us?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's unclear exactly what year we'll be able to, we'll see that we pass 1.5 degrees. So let me say it this way. Crossing a threshold like 1.5 degrees or any specific degree, we'll know after we crossed it. We can predict approximately when that's going to happen. So it's very likely within the next decade that we will fully cross the 1.5 degree threshold in the Paris Agreement. It could be longer, it could be shorter. It could happen, in fact, in the next couple years, but this is really honestly unknown. You really only know when we've crossed it after it's too late. What does seem to be clear is that we are on a current trajectory to cross the 1.5 degree threshold, and that's seriously concerning. And it's concerning because of the way in which we're already seeing impacts around the world, especially for vulnerable people in vulnerable countries.
You know, Timon, many people hear, based on our viewership, they hear 1.5, 2 degrees Celsius, and they don't exactly know what it means. Do you think most people truly grasp what warming actually means for their daily lives?
The way most people experience global warming is actually through extreme weather events, the way in which climate fuels more extreme storms, heat waves, drought, fires, etc. So it's very hard actually to grasp the difference between a 1.5 or 1.6 or a 2 degree warmer world. What we can understand is that we're seeing an increase in the frequency and the intensity of these climate-fueled extreme events all around the world. And I think people are aware of that and are really waking up to the fact that we're seeing more of these and they're more impactful. What is of concern is after COP30 and we see the lack of significant agreement on drawing down emissions and setting targets to stay under the 1.5 degree target set in the Paris Agreement, is that we are on a path to exceed 1.5 degrees. So regardless of whether people understand the difference between a tenth of a degree, what I think is clear is that we know we're on a dangerous pathway, and the window of opportunity for closing that down from 2 degrees to 1.5 is narrowing very fast.
The organization says it may still be possible to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees by the end of this century. Do you see a path forward for carbon dioxide removal technologies kicking in on a global stage within the next few decades or so?
At this point, we need every single solution on deck to help bring carbon emissions down. But the fundamental solution has to be reducing emissions, not various types of technologies that can allow emissions to continue while we're trying to suck carbon out of the atmosphere. No doubt we need those technologies and we need to deploy them, and at scale will be very helpful. But it's also very dangerous to think that carbon removal technologies are going to allow us to continue business as usual. It's clear that we cannot do that, and that we have to be fundamentally transforming lifestyles, reducing emissions across multiple sectors, and especially in the global north that are the largest emitters, so that we can stay as close to that 1.5 degree target as possible.
When you see what storms, flooding, wildfires, extreme heat, droughts are doing, or rather what they did this year, on a personal level, are you afraid of what could happen if we don't get our act together?
I have children, I have family, I have friends. We're looking to the future, trying to secure a stable, safe future for our children, and that is definitely at risk. It was put more at risk because of the failure to make significant agreements within COP30. So I'm very concerned about the likelihood, what seems to be an increasing likelihood, that we're going to see not only a much warmer world, but a warmer world where we're facing this type of natural disasters in areas all around the world. As you said, from extreme fires and droughts to heat waves that are claiming lives in cities all around the world. This to me, and again, getting to your point about, on a personal level, I am concerned. In fact, I'm very concerned, but I'm also very hopeful because we have so many solutions that are already happening. We just need the financial commitment, the political will to scale those solutions up. And this includes social solutions, nature-based approaches. We know how to solve this problem, but we have to get to work. Our leaders have to get to work, and the finance has to flow.
What would be one thing you would recommend an ordinary person does to play his or her role in fixing this crisis?
Every single person on the planet needs to help put leaders in place that care about the climate, that are committed to reducing emissions and bringing our climate into a stable place as it has been. That's about voting. That's about participating in democracy. Every one of us can do that no matter where we are in the world to influence and have better leadership. That's key.
online science journal Nature has posted a list of people who they say has helped to shape science this year. Among the top 10 are South Africa's Precious Matsoso, who helped create a World Health Organization guide for preventing, preparing and responding to global pandemics, and Leon Wentheng, the former financial analyst who created DeepSeek, the AI program ChatGPT's main competitor. And then there is Luciano Moreira, who is part of a team of scientists fighting dengue and other mosquito-borne illnesses in Brazil. Firstly, I know mosquitoes enjoy warm weather, so if global temperatures are rising, are mosquito numbers increasing as well?
We probably have increased the number of mosquitoes, but we also have the spread of mosquitoes to different places as well. So we have very good examples in Brazil. Before Aedes aegypti, that is mosquito in Earth, was not present in the south of Brazil. So more recently, last years, it's becoming more common to see them in the south in cities that we never had. So therefore, dengue is spreading to places that never had dengue before, and other arbovirus like chikungunya and Zika as well. So I would say yes for both reasons.
Your team works with mosquitoes carrying Wolbachia. Firstly, what exactly is that, and where is it found in nature?
Wolbachia is a very common bacterium. It's present in around 60% of all insect species in the world. And this program started in Australia with Scott O'Neill, who had an idea to purify Wolbachia from the fruit fly, Drosophila, and put into the eggs of Aedes aegypti to see if somehow this mosquito would become a less potent vector for dengue. We discovered that when Wolbachia is inside the mosquito, it also blocks dengue replication inside the mosquito. So Wolbachia is inside the cell, and the virus has to replicate inside the cell. So what happens there is that Wolbachia competes with nutrients, cell resources that the virus needs as well. And then there is a competition and Wolbachia wins. Therefore, these mosquitoes will not transmit the viruses.
I guess my next question would be, do you ever find Wolbachia in humans? Is it dangerous at all to us?
Wolbachia was never found in vertebrates. Was never found in animals, in plants, in people. People were afraid when we started releasing mosquitoes that by the bite of mosquitoes you would be transferring Wolbachia, but this does not happen because Wolbachia is inside the cell, as already said. And when a mosquito bites someone in the saliva, there are no cells there. No cells are coming out with the saliva of the mosquito. So therefore, Wolbachia is not able to be transmitted to humans and cause maybe allergies or antibodies against Wolbachia. So we checked all this.
Oh, that's so fascinating. I'm not sure whether you mentioned this earlier, but does Wolbachia simply prevent the mosquito from transmitting dengue fever and other diseases, or does it actually kill the mosquito?
No, Wolbachia does not kill the mosquito. The mosquito will still be there. I know that you hate mosquitoes, but they will still be there. So they will bite people. But what happens is that they don't transmit these diseases. We also found that Wolbachia blocks dengue, Zika, chikungunya, yellow fever, and we also have another virus in Brazil called Maiaro. So all these viruses are blocked by Wolbachia. These mosquitoes are sent to a lab, and by PCR, we detect Wolbachia DNA. So we know what's the percentage of Wolbachia positive mosquitoes that are in that particular place and that particular time. For instance, in Australia, they did in 2011, 14 years ago, they did in some areas. If you go back there, mosquitoes will still be positive for Wolbachia. We did some in early days in Brazil in 2014, 15, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and Wolbachia positive mosquitoes will still be there. So this is the most important thing, a very interesting thing, characteristic of Wolbachia.
I have mixed feelings about mosquitoes. They are part of the ecosystem and they do serve a purpose, I guess, but I am kind of sad that Wolbachia doesn't kill them. But before I let you go, Doctor, do you see this method that you're using to control the spread of these diseases being used by the rest of the world anytime soon to permanently end all of these scourges spreading by the Aedes aegypti mosquito?
Okay, so the World Mosquito Program is present in 15 countries now. So many countries already deploying Wolbachia as a technique and technology for dengue control. In Brazil, we already deployed in 16 cities. So we are protecting more than 5 million people. And we have now this massive factory in Brazil producing 100 million eggs of mosquitoes with Wolbachia per week. So this gives us the possibility to protect 14 million people per year. So this we are producing for the Ministry of Health in Brazil and Fiocruz to really be able to spread and go to many cities in Brazil as possible. And I don't see like right now possibility of eradication. So dengue is a very complex disease. So what I see, governments, they have to use many different ways, control methods, and in conjunction as an integrated system, they, for instance, vaccines, Wolbachia, and other techniques should be used rationally in a way that we can really reduce the incidence of these diseases. We see that Wolbachia is very powerful, the efficacy is really there in different countries, and we have very good results in Brazil, and we hope to be able to protect as many people as possible in the next few years. So that's our goal.
So you've just heard how mosquitoes are spreading to new places as the climate warms. But protecting yourself doesn't need to mean expensive sprays or high-tech solutions. A lot of it comes down to everyday habits, the kind of things many of us don't even notice. So it's time for Just to Matter, where the small things can make a big difference.
Standing water is the biggest problem. Don't let water collect in your flower pots, plant saucers, buckets, and bottle tops in your yard. That way, mosquitoes don't have anywhere to lay their eggs.
Unattended water indoors matters too, so empty pet bowls, clean bathroom drains, and change water in vases regularly to remove breeding spots inside your home. What you wear and what you spray can attract these critters. Go easy on strong perfumes and dark clothing, especially at dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Keeping mosquitoes outside really works, so check your window screens and door seals, as even small gaps give them a way in. Fans can also help keep these pesky biters away. Mosquitoes are delicate, and the moving air can make it harder for them to land. And community action matters. It just takes one neglected yard or balcony for mosquitoes to affect an entire neighborhood. So invite those living around you to practice mozzie maintenance too.
And that's our show. A devastating 12 months for many, but a peek at the people working to actually fix this multidimensional crisis. We at TRT will be doing our part. We hope you do the same. Bye for now.